instant turmeric tea. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in is what you get out. Yeah. Build up your body, boost up your brain. Take on the world now. Say bye-bye pain. Caribbean Dreams instant turmeric tea. Be good to you. Caribbean Dreams instant turmeric tea. Distributed by Amalgamated Distributors Limited.
The time by Kyrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The Business News headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible. Sustainable finance, institutional reform, and a landmark AI copyright battle between 3 U.S. companies. Hello, welcome to CBX Business News for Wednesday, June 11, 2025. I'm Yunil Wood. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast, locally, the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the United Nations Development Programme signed a historic agreement aimed at boosting sustainable investment and expanding social capital markets. On the regional front, the Caribbean Development Bank embarks on a bold institutional overhaul to meet the demands of modern development. And over on the global stage, Disney and Universal file a landmark lawsuit against AI giant Midjourney, marking a major battle over copyright infringement in the age of artificial intelligence. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories right after this break.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
Introducing the Corporate Services Unit, your go-to experts for corporate secretarial solutions. We offer statutory compliance, efficient minute taking, registered office address services, management of board and members meetings, setup and maintenance of corporate registers. Stay ahead with our proactive approach to new regulations. We operate under the Trust and Corporate Service Provider, licensed to the JCSD Trustee Services Limited. We're here to simplify your corporate journey, no matter the size of your company. Contact the Corporate Service Unit today and let's streamline your compliance journey together, because your success is our business.
Hi, I'm Nielsen Rose, host of Let's Talk Stocks, reminding you that health is indeed wealth and time is really money. Why not spend a little time with us? Weekday mornings, 9 to 9:30 a.m. for your daily dose of business, economic, and investment insights.
Me grew up and see my granny save her money under her mattress.
Exactly.
Your grandmother house never burned down?
No, how you reach that, so?
That was a one-off thing.
That could have happened to anybody. That's why you must put your money in a financial institution and protect it.
What if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in.
What you mean?
JDIC is a financial safety net which provides coverage for your money in case your financial institution fails.
Explain that to me.
Alright, because of the JDIC deposit insurance scheme, once you put your money into a financial institution like a bank or building society, you can get coverage of up to a maximum of $1.2 million per deposit of your financial institution if it should fail. And for even more information, you can visit their new website at www.jdic.org, and you can follow the social media platforms for the latest information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Your garden coming along well.
Thanks, man. You know, it's a long time I've been working at it.
I can see that. I saw your mail by the gate, so I'll pick it up for you. But tell me something, why are you still receiving dividend checks by mail?
What do you mean about that?
You need to give JCSD a mandate.
You know, me hear about the mandate them. I'm going over there right now.
A mandate means giving instructions to the Jamaica Central Securities Depository Limited, JCSD, relating to the handling of your dividend or interest payment. There are 3 types of mandates. The first is a bank mandate. The second is a hold mandate. Lastly, we have what we call a third-party mandate, with which the investor may wish to send their dividend or interest to someone other than the parties on their account or institution of their choice.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. Now for the local news in detail. The Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE and the United Nations Development Programme UNDP have signed a historic Memorandum of Understanding MOU, marking a significant milestone in their ongoing collaboration to drive sustainable development in Jamaica. The agreement, formalized earlier today, cements a partnership grounded in shared values, mutual respect, and a joint commitment to mobilizing private capital in support of social sector initiatives, ensuring these efforts are carried out in a transparent, accountable, and sustainable manner. UNDP President Representative for Jamaica, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Cayman Islands, Dr. Kishan Kadey, underscored the significance of the agreement.
This MOU between the United Nations Development Programme and Jamaica Stock Exchange is really an important step in shifting the financing paradigm to support this mission, promoting innovative financing solutions, bridging the gap between growth and social progress, and powered by a new breed of dynamic social entrepreneurs that we see richly emerging in Jamaica and across the Caribbean.
At the ceremony held at the JSE offices in downtown Kingston, Mr. Kadey added that the partnership also aligns with the JSE's broader vision of creating a robust and dynamic social capital market.
We must forge new partnerships that leverage the strengths of both the public and the private to create lasting positive impact. Today's MOU, therefore, ensures that our vision for a more sustainable and inclusive future is achievable and can contribute to advancing JSE's plans for the full establishment of a dynamic social capital market.
UNDP's resident representative for Jamaica, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Cayman Islands, Dr. Kishan Kadey. Meanwhile, Managing Director of the JSE Group, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, emphasized the JSE's unwavering dedication to sustainable finance, a mission further strengthened by this agreement, which builds on 2 years of successful collaboration between the two entities.
JSE is committed to sustainable finance, and you would have known that because we launched the Green Bond Plus market, and we also launched in accordance, in association with the government, the Green Bond Guide. And this is really in terms of strengthening what we do here. And in particular, it also fits in well with the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange.
Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Group, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest. Banking in Jamaica has taken a step towards greater inclusion following the official launch of the National Commercial Bank Jamaica's NCBJ new audio guidance feature across select automated banking machines, ABMs, island-wide. NCB is the first financial institution in the country to offer this feature. The new audio guidance feature enables blind and visually impaired customers to perform everyday transactions, including withdrawals, deposits, and balance checks, with greater ease, safety, and privacy. Head of Branch Sales, Retail Banking, and Customer Experience at NCB, Kevin Ingram, explained the reason behind this initiative during Monday's event launch held at the Matilda's Corner NCB branch.
Accessibility matters, especially when it comes to banking in today's world. That's why we're here today celebrating the latest in a series of efforts to make banking more accessible to all members of our society, especially those who have had to navigate systems that weren't built with them in mind. Across Jamaica, over 300 of our ABMs serve customers from all walks of life. Let me repeat that. 300 ABMs. We're the largest ABM fleet in Jamaica, right? So we have the largest ABM fleet network in the country, and we serve customers right across several banking institutions. But for too long, blind and visually impaired Jamaicans have had to rely on others to do something as basic as withdrawal at an ABM. Not good.
He also highlighted the locations of the ABMs equipped with the new audio guidance feature.
So we started by installing, as Sharon said, brails on our ATM machine, and today 195 machines have those kits installed. And as we upgrade our fleet, all new ABMs now include these controls as a standard feature. Should clap for that. Every new one. On the success of the braille kits, we want to take it a step further. That's why we've introduced the audio guidance solution at approximately 40 ABMs across all 14 parishes, with one at every NCB branch location. And that's significant, because when you have at the branch location, you have persons here who can assist you, as opposed to going on the road. We want them on everyone, but the branch locations are very important.
In the meantime, NCB's head of branch sales says this initiative was born out of the company's commitment to actively listen to its customers and responding to their needs.
Having financial freedom should not depend on your eyesight. We're proud to be the very first financial institution in Jamaica to create this kind of access for our customers. Yes. I'm going to read that one again. We're proud to be the very first financial institution in Jamaica to create this kind. Boy, like I'm going to do it every time. We're blind or visually impaired. For you, it would not matter how good we said our ABMs were if we simply did not have the access necessary to use them. Our team is focused on continuous improvement, always trying to do better than we were yesterday. Today proves that we pay attention to the details that matters. Features like this don't happen by accident. They're not built in a boardroom. They take active listening, as Sharon mentioned.
Kevin Ingram, head of branch sales at NCBJ. And chairman of the Jamaica Society for the Blind, JSB, Damian McLean, describes the initiative as a historic one for persons who are blind or visually impaired.
This is indeed a grand evening. It's a day that is going down in history as a defining day for persons with disabilities, for NCB, more so for persons who are blind or visually impaired.
He explained why the new audio guidance feature at the ABMs is a significant development for the blind community.
Most of you in here cannot relate to going to the ATM and it's working, but you can't use it. none of you or most of you wouldn't have had an experience where you are on the road on the weekend, no branches open, need to access an ATM, and you have to go to a total stranger to say, tell me what's on this screen, can you assist me with this? Most of you cannot associate with that. Most of you cannot associate with being on the road at nights and for some reason or another you are out of cash. It gets riskier at nights to ask for assistance to get your money from the ATM.
Mr. McLean insists this is a game-changing move by the National Commercial Bank.
This today has brought about, it's a game changer. I no longer have to worry on weekends because I know where the branches are to get the access. I no longer have to worry at nights. I just no longer have to worry in general. And that speaks volumes.
Chairman of the Jamaica Society for the Blind, Damian McLean. And now for news from the Bank of Jamaica. The injecting of another $30 million in the foreign exchange market had a positive effect today as the Jamaican dollar gained against its U.S. counterpart. At the end of currency trading, the U.S. dollar is selling for $160.15, the Canadian for $118.01, and the pound sterling for $216.45. The euro is going for $183.46. And from BOJ, we go to the JSE for trading news. 101 stocks traded on the JSE Wednesday, of which 36 advanced, 49 declined, and 16 traded firm. R.A. Williams Distributors, Paramount Trading Jamaica, Cayley Group, and 138 Student Living Jamaica led the winners. While leading today's losers were Kingston Wharves, Epley Caribbean Property Fund SCC, Lasco Manufacturing, and the Limners and Bards. The main index declined by 3,618.15 points, or 1.14%, to close at 312,832.90. The junior market index also suffered a decline, but by 22.42, or 0.65%, to close at 3,407.50. And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standard. In today's Market Education Feature, we'll be defining the term cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis is a decision-making tool used to evaluate the anticipated costs and benefits of a particular action to determine its overall feasibility. By estimating potential gains and subtracting the associated costs, businesses can assess whether a decision is likely to yield a net advantage. While many CBAS are grounded in quantitative data, not all rely solely on precise figures. In some cases, analysts or consultants may develop models that assign monetary values to intangible elements, such as the perceived advantages and disadvantages of living in a specific location. The Market Education Feature was brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. And that's it for the local news. Please stay with us. The regional business news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
Welcome back, and now for the regional business news. The Caribbean Development Bank CDB is embarking on an ambitious transformation strategy aimed at modernizing its operations and redefining its approach to development finance. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the 55th annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank earlier today, CDB President Daniel Best says this undertaking marks a significant re-imaging of both the structure and spirit of the regional financial institution.
The Caribbean Development Bank is undergoing a bold transformation, a rebirth of the bank and a reimagining of both structure and spirit. Our development ethos is innovate, transform, thrive. At the heart of our mission, this ethos shapes our vision and guides our path toward building resilient institutions for a greener, stronger, and more inclusive Caribbean.
The CDB president says the bank is also moving to modernize its internal systems to deliver improved transparency, accountability, and results in line with international best practices.
We innovate to unlock new possibilities for the Caribbean, reimagining development finance to meet the demands of rapidly evolving world, and modernizing systems to enhance transparency, accountability, and results. Why? Because progress falters when we cling to outdated tools to address emerging realities.
President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Daniel Best. Guyana is accelerating efforts to expand its agricultural export market through strategic partnerships with key regional and international players, signaling a bold move toward food security and economic growth. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa announced that the government is negotiating to expand the distribution of prawns in Region 5 across Caribbean markets through Masses supermarkets.
A few days back, we were in Region 5, His Excellency, and we were looking at the prawns project. And there we have started the production of prawns. I know for a fact that the prawns project have been engaging Massey's attention. They have already visited that project, and I am hoping that our prawns, the Vanamee prawns, first of its kind in the Caribbean, can also be sold across the region.
Minister Mustafa says complementing this initiative is an upcoming signing of a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with Bloomberg Grain.
Very shortly, we will sign an MOU with Bloomberg Grain, where we'll build that food hub so that we can export a number of commodities across the various Caribbean countries so that we can reduce that food import bill.
Guyana's Agriculture Minister, Zulfikar Mustafa. In other news, regional carrier Silver Airways has announced it will cease all flight operations effective June 11, marking a significant disruption in air service to several Bahamian family islands. The airline, which filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in January this year, revealed in a customer advisory that it has entered a transition agreement to sell its assets to another airline holding company. However, the new owner has decided not to continue Silver Airways' flight operations. Silver Airways has been a key player connecting Florida with the Bahamas' family islands, serving destinations including Georgetown, North Eleuthera, Governor's Harbor, Binimi, Marsh Harbor, Nassau, and Freeport, Grand Bahama. The company is urging customers not to travel to the airport and to seek refunds through their credit card providers or travel agencies, highlighting the immediate impact on passengers and tourism-dependent communities. And from the Bahamas, we go to Trinidad and Tobago for trading news from the TTSE. 22 securities traded on the TTSE Wednesday, of which 2 advanced, 11 declined, and 9 traded firm. Today's winners were Prestige Holdings and Unilever Caribbean, while leading the losers were NCB Financial Group, Scotiabank TNT, Ansa McCall, and Trinidad Cement. Other results of the day include the All TNT Index declining by 13.17 to close at 1,502.81. The Composite Index declining by 10.95 to close at 1,021.10. The cross-listed index also declined, but by 1.20 to close at 70.78. And still remaining at 91.81 is the SME Index. And we go for a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next. Welcome back. And in international business news, imports at major U.S. seaports dropped sharply in May following the Trump administration's temporary imposition of 145% tariffs on a wide range of goods from China. The move stalled trade flows and disrupted supply chains, according to new data from logistics research firm Descartes Datamine. The abrupt tariff hike, though short-lived, significantly impacted trade volumes at some of the nation's busiest West Coast ports. The Port of Long Beach recorded a 20.9% year-over-year decline in import volumes, while imports at the Port of Los Angeles fell by 8.5%. In Washington state, the Port of Seattle posted a 17.3% decrease, and Tacoma experienced a sharp 39.4% drop. China is the United States' largest source of ocean-borne imports, supplying consumer goods for major retailers such as Walmart and parts for U.S. manufacturers, including automakers. The tariff shock prompted shipping delays and cancellations as companies scrambled to reassess costs and sourcing strategies. In other news, the United States recorded a budget deficit of $316 billion in May, marking a 9% decline from the same period last year, according to the latest data from the U.S. Treasury Department. The improvement is being credited in part to a record-setting increase in custom receipts, which soared to $23 billion during the month. The surge follows the implementation of new tariffs imposed by President Trump on a wide range of imports from key trading partners. Compared to May last year, when customs revenue totaled $6 billion, the jump represents a nearly four-fold increase. Year-to-date customs collections have risen nearly 60% to $86 billion, helping to offset growing government spending. Overall, total receipts climbed 15% year-over-year to $371 billion, while federal outlays increased to $687 billion. After accounting for timing shifts related to June benefit payments, the adjusted budget deficit stood at $219 billion, a comparable adjusted figure last year. And two of Hollywood's biggest powerhouses, Disney and Universal, have launched a major lawsuit against artificial intelligence company Midjourney, marking the first major legal clash between studios and an AI image generator. Filed Wednesday in a California federal court, the lawsuit accuses Midjourney of copyright infringement, alleging the company trained its AI models on protected content from Disney and Universal, including beloved characters like Shrek, Ariel, Bart Simpson, and even Star Wars icon, without permission. Midjourney, one of the world's most popular AI image generators, allows users to create realistic visuals from text prompts in seconds. But the studios say the tool functions as a bottomless pit of plagiarism, churning out endless unauthorized copies of copyrighted works. Disney's legal team argues that this is not a question of innovation, but of piracy, stating that the fact that it's done by an AI company does not make it any less infringing. The lawsuit also reveals that Disney and Universal previously asked Midjourney to implement copyright safeguards, similar to those it already uses to filter nudity or violence, but claim the company ignored their requests. And that's it for International News segment. The news recap is up next on the other side of this break. Welcome back, and now a recap of our top stories. Locally, JSE and UNDP signed historic MOU. In regional business news, Caribbean Development Bank undergoes bold transformation. And internationally, Disney and Universal sue AI company Midjourney over copyright infringement. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Yanil Wood, thanking you for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.